Hello. Okay. Sorry for that brief technical issue. So as I was mentioning, I'll keep this short and sweet. I'll continue off last week's note that I shared about the organization, the overall financial and organizational adjustments we are making to respond to the broader market crisis and uh, the local idiosyncrasies of the crypto markets. Um, while I won't bore you guys with details, I will share that we have uh, uh, reaffirmed our interest to pursue quality over quantity. I shared last time that this is not an obvious option. Um, volume, sheer volume, though perhaps of lower quality, has been seen as an excellent metric of a chain's growth, mostly as an indicator of future quality, as each of the individual applications, given very you know, accepting capital markets, would have been able to raise funds and improve. Now, that's not a possibility anymore. Venture capitals aren't investing as much. Capital costs a lot more money given the now quite high interest rates. So the translation of volume now into quality later isn't as clear. For this reason, we're just cutting off the middleman, cutting off getting started with the quantity first, and then hope for a few to excel. We're now, frankly, focusing more on the few that we are confident that will excel, and more so that are sustainable in and of themselves, financially, technically, and so forth. We've been expanding the team. We have continued to do so in spite of market downturns and other contingencies. But Cherry Labs specifically and Cherry Network as a whole won't be as active in support of our ecosystem projects as we had originally hoped, simply because there's still a lot of work in the core. We still believe that should be the prerogative, since that is the one true proven technological output that people have interest in and people have invested. So therefore, our first priority, our first commitment is to that, to uphold your investment, essentially. And secondly, because rather than expanding and risking time, effort, and money on certain ventures, we would now much rather focusing on fewer, better defined, and clear ventures of supposedly higher quality. Now, these three are the ones you've all known and loved. They're Seedling, Cherish, and Unigate. I do believe Unigate will have a significant update shortly. I mentioned this in the previous call. Cherish should probably be due for another update later this month. I'm sorry, later next month, the month of July. And Seedling, likewise, will be expanding horizontally to include a lot of services, both of technical and logistic nature, in support of both projects and investors in their funding and other DeFi requirements. We think that these three will form the basis of the trade network ecosystem in the short term. We have still very strong partnerships with other stakeholders. Unfortunately, these other stakeholders are more susceptible to market risk since they've not yet launched their MVP. They want to garner the most traction first, and so they're a bit more skeptical to launch now in this market. But we nonetheless have invested a lot in these, and we're quite happy with the progress made, and excited to share that with you, regardless of these short-term sentiments, which I think are transitory. We will be launching, though will focus on quality, a lot of the now 60 plus projects incubated by Cherry Labs in one way or another over the next months. Some other updates. Mainnet is doing fabulously. We've had quite a significant volume increase over the past few days. We're quite happy of the developer adoption. We've seen people simply tinkering with transactions. You can do this yourself, even as a layman. You can see that you press a button to broadcast a transaction, and instantly it's fabulous. It's flabbergasting, especially compared with the plenty others. Instantly the transaction is finalized and tokens that were transferred received into receiving wallet. What takes on Binance Chain 6 seconds or whatever, 10 seconds, Ethereum often minutes, and hefty fees. On Cherry costs fractions of a dollar and milliseconds. I'm quite happy about that. I've heard some continued issues with the bridge. We'll address these shortly. Just the updated, if you've had any issues about an announcement about it, most likely no action will be required of you. But in case there are actions required, it will be anyway of very few, of perhaps a few, maybe 3 or 4, and you'll be contacted either personally if we know who you are, or via a group message where we'll ask you to identify yourselves with the address used to interact with the bridge contract, so that we can assist you personally. Finally, staking goes active in, I'm guessing, 40 minutes. I think it's 40 minutes. We're quite excited about it. We shared a post about this earlier, yesterday. We have these validators who are active. You can see it within the Share.Place interface. There's a technical committee proposals to increase the validator count. So everything is in place. It'll, as soon as 5 o'clock UTC strikes, it'll be triggered, and users will immediately be able to start earning stake rewards within the Cherry network. Now, the SphereLink liquid staking interface has been a bit slow to launch. We were arguing whether to do it one way or another with them. I'll spare you the details. We have opted for a more complex version at first, but that will allow the introduction of further complexity or simplification in the medium term. This means that at some point in the near future, you may be required to upgrade your deposits from the previous smart contract to the new one. But with that said, we have no reason to believe that the contract in its current state won't work as it should, and is otherwise buggy. That's my update so far. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Sorry about that. Yes, we do actually have questions, so bear with me now 1 second. I'm just going to get them up. Just a few interesting ones. Wait 1 sec. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, questions. Now, John posted the questions here somewhere. Sorry, here they were. I haven't staked in this way before. Is it best to diversify nominations across multiple validators to increase APY returns? From JD.
The answer to that is a brilliant yes. We already have quite eloquently explained how these second wards are allocated individually to validators. It isn't as much in respect to how much they have staked, but rather more nominally than proportionally. So each validator, depending on how much they work, depending on how much they're online, and how much the round robin random assignment assigns them the privilege of validating the network for a block or more, they'll be earning staking rewards more or less equally. So yes, the answer to that is, rather than focusing on a single validator, which also has some other downsides, which I'll get to later, it is better to stake in as many validators as possible. You can do this very easily by simply selecting more than one nominator. I believe you can select up to 18 or more. I forget the number. Now, the downside of nominating, as again can be found in the documentation, is slashing. When a validator acts improperly, which we don't have reason to believe any would, but may abuse their validator powers, and they're found out, more importantly, and the consensus steers away from their decision, their bond and the nominations toward them are slashed. This means that a percentage of these gets essentially removed or subtracted by the bond and nominators, and then issued to the treasury so that the treasury can, or the treasury participants, the DAO, can determine whether to either refund it or spend it otherwise or burn it. This is a economic function to assign an interest in participating correctly to the network consensus, and indeed for users who have no particular interest in doing harm to the network, it would be wise to either choose your validators so that you know that they would not act improperly, and thus reducing your risk of slashing simply by following a validator's reputation, or the more dumb and frankly obvious and better way, which I would recommend, is to diversifying the recipients of your nominations to as many nominees you can find. However, in general terms, though, we are quite proud of the facility of liquid staking Spherelink has created. I would suggest users who have tried bridging tokens, who have some familiarity with the Cherry Up Place interface, to use that, the native staking, and diversify there, rather than attempting to diversify with the bridged with the liquid staking facility, which is by any means lesser of a consensus participant than the 5 main validator nodes and the others that will follow as we expand our validator sets.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Would you be able to, as well, someone asked if there is a tax on PancakeSwap for share? I'm not really aware of this at all.
No.
Okay. Also, we had another question regarding staking. Hang on one second. Where do we see the APY from the validators?
We will try and make an interface for this. Currently, the function expressive of the award can be found in the documentation. It is a bit complex and a sort of esoteric. You need to understand some quite nuance and of networking and frankly complex math. We'll try to make it a bit more approachable. Perhaps not in the blockchain interface where it wouldn't logically have a place, but rather working with the validators who individually will be making either pages or reports or otherwise some sort of interaction methodology with their nominees, with their nominators to disclose how much they've made and how much is expected to be made given their commission rates and so forth.
Okay, thank you. Another question regarding, there was a question regarding the overall priorities for the next month from our perspective.
I think I explained it earlier. Moving away from quantity into quality, focusing on our core ecosystem, an established ecosystem, Unigate, Cherish, Seedling. All of these three have a very prosperous future, and we will try to carry that forward in the short term. That's the plan for the next month. We will be adding other ecosystem projects. I think we'll add at least 2 or 3. So we'll be picking up pace there. But in the very short term, as we sort of reassess and reorganize given external conditions, the focus really will be on value, on potentially revenue producing projects rather than excess and dispersion.
Okay, thank you. I think with that, I might just give some more specific things that people might want to hear. Obviously, staking is going live very shortly, which is something that people have been waiting for quite a while. So that's quite good to hear. Aside from that, we have some interesting things that will be slightly more visible to the community. This week we will be starting a merchandise design competition, wherein we will have prizes for people to submit their designs for hoodies, caps, all sorts of things like that. Taking the Cherry kind of design aesthetic into account and just make things that are cool that people would want to wear. Because as I mentioned before, and I will get to again soon, we will have events coming up in the next few weeks. We haven't finalized that yet. You'll probably hear about this in the next few days, but it'll be within 3 or 4 weeks from now. But by then we want to have the merch design competition wrapped up so that we can get some of that merch to people who attend the next event. So that's going to be fun. On top of that, we'll have some other kind of interactive marketing kind of competitions coming up next week after the merchandise competition this week. So instead of just having competitions like some other projects have where they just give out huge sums of money for no reason, we kind of try and keep things a bit more interactive and participative. So over the next couple of weeks, anyone who has a bit of creativity and some useful analysis for us, they will be able to contribute, and hopefully win something from it and get rewarded therein. So thank you, Herman, for your help. I think I've given my update from my end of things, more or less. I believe that Marv was supposed to give his update soon, but he just said that wherever he is working at. Are you able to talk, or is it too difficult?
No, I should be able to talk. Things outside the
Okay,
call
okay,
now. Sure.
sure.
So
Go ahead then, man.
I'll go for it then. Um, there, there we go. Wait, I'll just do this. All right. Hi everybody. I'm Marv. I'm the project lead for Cherish. I'll give you guys a quick run through of what is going on with Cherish in these exciting days. The first few weeks of the Cherry chain launching. So that's pretty big news for us at Cherish, since it's something we've been waiting for a very long time. So what we've been doing over the last couple of days, since the last AMA, we're finishing off marketing prep that we had planned for when Cherish decides to launch, or when we're ready to launch the platform, deciding on the final elements that will be included in the platform. So we can tell you for sure what's going to be included shortly or soon, maybe the next AMA, what you can expect from the platform. Then we're still working on onboarding and doing some small website front-end updates that do not pertain to the final platform. Then we've been starting to work on fiat gateway, so that fiat money can roll into Cherish as well. Not only cryptocurrency, opening it up to a lot of avenues of commerce, and so all these creators can get paid in any way that they want, not just crypto. And then making sure that Cherish is legally protected, or in a good legal stature, to make sure that we don't get in trouble for representing or posting NSFW content, and everybody can share what they want when they like on Cherish. And that's pretty much what we've been up to. So in the coming weeks, I'll be working on making sure the event looks good, and we might do a little Cherish addition to that in preparation of our launch. So that's something I'm looking forward to as well. So everything is going pretty smoothly on our end, and we're very excited to what's to come in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you, Marv. Yeah, it's pretty exciting times for Cherish indeed, especially with the launch coming up soon, and all the fruits of their labor will start to be seen between everyone involved, especially Marv and John, who've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and people like Bobby and other supporters have been working very hard behind the scenes in the past past few months actually, in anticipation for everything launching over there. So that's really, really good to see, and very exciting indeed. I think that we're going to jump over to Diego now and see what he has to say.
Hello, yes. Okay, guys. So I'll briefly go through the main things for Seedling. We have updated our visual deck to show around to investors, understand Seedling, and most importantly, also for the introduction to future projects. This is very cool, as anyone can just read through the 8-9 slides and understand everything from our allocation system to our project support, to our measures for investors, etc. Also a very good marketing document to spread around. We know with the marketing sales like it is right now, many people who have not yet been introduced to crypto might decide it's a good moment to hop in. We are aware that this is a very rapid changing economy, and that learning is pretty difficult since it's relatively new and there is not excessive information to it. So we have been building a dictionary with the most common words identified in the different white papers, pitch decks, mediums, YouTube videos, etc., for all the pre-sale analysis and research. Also, it will include information including STOs or market makers that I have personally not seen anyone talk about, and they are very key in the space, maybe more common for professionals within the space and less common for retail investors. And then knowing cybercrime is up by 600% since the whole pandemic, and still is as of today, we are also focusing into looking into other protective measures for the Launchpad, in order to not only have a more diligent protocol, but secure investments for you guys. And even the group chats, I know in the last couple of weeks, moderators from not only Seedling, but other group chats, Cherish, Cherry, are also looking to how to protect you guys from biased information and setting measures for smooth, correct information flow. And finally, the new analyst helping in Seedling, which I mentioned on the last AMA, has been in contact with some great projects that they are looking to be listed in the future. So always active, establishing good relationship for future listings. That's pretty much it for Seedling. Hello, hello.
Hey, can you hear me now? Hello? Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, for some reason when I'm changing between apps on my phone, it keeps slowing down. So sorry I wasn't unmuted quick enough there. So yeah, that's quite promising. We have, as I've mentioned before, a pretty visionary approach to how to do things in Seedling. It's a very interesting space, the launchpad space, for people who are interested in economics and incentives, and how to get an edge in the market, and what kind of economic measures are needed to foster increased growth and stable growth, and also benefit all the stakeholders therein. And Diego is quite a good example of people looking at how to really improve things in a way that has happened before in crypto, when people come up with great ideas and they say, hey, we're going to do it a different way, and then next thing you know, it really takes off. So I think there's some very interesting and very small, incremental, but also transformative steps being taken within the Seedling project to really do things differently in a way that really benefits all the users and everybody else in the ecosystem. The same is true for Cherish to a large degree as well. We have a couple of things that are about to be announced with regards to how Cherish will work that will surprise people, and they're quite innovative, and it's quite exciting indeed. So I'm just going to check. I'm not sure if we're going to do the quiz right now or if we're going to do it in a little while. I'm not sure, so bear with me 1 second. I'm going to quickly check to see if there's any other questions of note, and then if not, then we'll just move towards the quiz, I think. So hang on. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so Marv, do we have the quiz stuff lined up? Do we?
Okay, yeah, quiz should be good. John will be taking care of that in Telegram chat.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thanks, Marv. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining us. We'll have some interesting announcement to make over the next couple of days, and then into next week. We have the project diary and other things. We're going to have the update, the newsletter go out tomorrow. Staking, of course, is something that a lot of people have been looking forward to, so that will be going live in minutes. So everything is moving with good momentum on our end, and we look forward to sharing these things with you and some other things that I didn't really have time to go over, or that weren't fully prepared by now. Let's just say that over the next few days we have some fun things to talk about, so you can always catch us in the chat as always. Any more questions, just let us know, and we'll try and get to the questions as soon as possible. As I mentioned before, the quiz winners from the last 3 quizzes, including this one, and any other payments that were meant to be made for the prizes from the previous ones, will all be addressed within the next couple of hours. So that should, if you've been waiting for an announcement or waiting for your prizes, just hang on a few more hours and we'll have it done then. So thank you guys for joining us as always, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye bye.